Hey, friends, welcome to this very, very special edition of Hey Girl. This is the Detroit Women of Comedy Festival show, and I am the host of Hey Girl. I am Margaret Edwartowski. I am a actor, playwright, author, nonprofit administrator, mother, wife, friend, and general bon vivant. And I am from Detroit, Metro Detroit. And we are coming to you through the Planet Ant Theater. And we are celebrating the fantastic Detroit Women of Comedy Festival, an amazing opportunity for women to show off how damn funny we are. This year, of course, we are virtual. And today is not May 29th. It's June 4th. We are not live. Yes, we are not live, but we are really thrilled to be able to bring on some phenomenal guests, all of whom, I'm not just saying this, are very dear friends of mine. But before we get started, I want to bring on our producer. So please welcome Jessica Cooper.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl, you remember?
I remembered. Yes.
Oh, hey, girl.
Okay. I'm so happy that this is the festival episode.
It is. The festival is going amazing, isn't it?
It's going so well. We've been through one day so far right now on June 4th. And
early June's my favorite time of year.
Yeah. It's a beautiful time of year.
Kicking ass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have expanded duties for the festival. You're a pretty important person on the thing, aren't
you? Important is a word. No, I'm just kidding. I'm doing
What's your role?
Digital stuff. Yes. Digital producer. So I'm clicking all the buttons for the festival, bringing people in and out, and putting up the fancy little banners at the bottom, like the one here.
Great. They look great. I mean, that's being the button pusher at an online festival. You're kind of everything.
Yeah. And it's a decent sized festival, so it's.
And it's going well since
it's going
right
so well
now. This
right now on June 4th.
On June 4th today.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
We'll read the headlines later. Yep, you should be. Well, thank you as always for being an amazing co-conspirator in this Hey Girl project.
Oh, it is my pleasure.
Have a great show. Thanks. Well, just a couple thoughts before we get started. I don't want to talk too long because we'll have some great guests. But this week I got a new office chair. And so I went shopping for chairs. And a little bit of background while you see this photo in front of you. I am not a small person. I am a large woman. And so I was like, hey, I wonder if they have sturdier, larger office chairs. They do. And here's the challenge. The marketing toward us unfortunate plus size people is wait, go back. Don't do them all yet. I want to go slowly. So the marketing is questionable, and there is some culture, maybe language barriers going on with some of these international companies that are selling these chairs. So, here's the first one, right? This is the first picture I shared. Fine. Hey, this guy looks happy about his chair. He's a big guy, but he's like, hey, I'm about to sit in this chair and it's going to feel great. Cool. All right, let's see this next one. This one slays me. Look at this guy with the thought bubble. I need an office chair for fat people. And fortunately this one has an extra thickness tube and holds up to 500 pounds. So your thought bubble is answered. Let's look at the next one. Oh my God. I want this guy's job. What is he doing in this office chair that he's got a remote and a beer? Like, that's so great. But, the chair looks comfortable. So I think this ad is doing his job. It's just not very office-y. All right, let's look at the next one. This one kills me. I love before and after commercials in general, but look at how sad and dejected this guy is about the chair. Others, too small to sit down. That box is checked. So we know that this is that one. And then if you get the right chair, you're going to be like a loan shark from the 70s. Like, what is this cigar? Like, I got the big chair. This is great. All right, next one. I think this is our last one. Okay, this is the one I actually bought. But look at this this guy. A good chair makes fat men happy. I mean, that's conventional wisdom that everyone knows. And if you sit in this chair all day, you will be jetting out your belly like that. The beauty is this chair actually has massage, and I put it together with my kid in a short amount of time. So I think I probably did look like that position. But anyway, that's my tour through fat chair advertising. Thank you, Jess, for sharing the photos on that. It really took me a long time to buy a chair after looking through that. It was probably from having to deal with all the self-loathing that they think this is how I need to be marketed to. But anyway, the chair feels great and has prepared me for an amazing show where we're going to bring on some awesome guests. In the green room before the show, I just had hearts all around my head when this first guest entered, because she just has the most wonderful energy, and I think she's going to be a whole lot of fun tonight, June 4th. So you will recognize her from Watch What Happens Live, and she has her show Reality Checked on Sirius XM Radio, and recently came out with a cookbook called Cook It, Spill It, Throw It, the Not So Real Housewives parody cookbook. Please warmly welcome the wonderful Amy Phillips.
Hi, what's up? Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
June 4th. Hey, girl. June 4th. Hey, girl. June
Hey, girl.
4th. I'm so excited. I love you. This is like, this is such it's like an oasis, if I may say, seeing your face. Knowing who else is behind the curtain. It's very exciting. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. It feels like a day trip with girlfriends. Like
yes.
Like one of those winery tours or like a spa day or something.
Yes. Oh my God. I would love that.
I need all those things.
I know. I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. That sounds right.
Well, I'm so glad you could join us today.
Me too.
And I'm going to get cracking and just bring these other ladies in.
Yes. Okay.
We're going to have a great time. All right. This next fabulous woman. Now, mind you, all these ladies have been here before, but not all together. So this is like kind of Voltron coming together. Right? It's like all the titans in one place. So this next fabulous woman, you've seen her on Workaholics and The Good Place. She's currently on Bob Hart's Abishola. Please warmly welcome the wonderful Mary Beth Monroe.
Hello, ladies.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girls. Hey, girls. Oh, I'm so excited to be here. I am feeling Amy's energy, and I just have to say, I think it just entered me, and now I'm ready.
Right? Like she lit us all from within. Like,
Greatest entrance ever.
Oh,
that was amazing.
Now, the big news of today, June 4th, is Mary Beth's bangs and how fabulous they are.
Thank you for giving them a shout out. You guys know I had bangs back in the day, and it's been a long time. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like 25 again. Not really, but
Oh, you look
thank
20.
you. Oh, wow. Thanks.
I didn't mean to pause.
You
25.
tried. We tried.
Carry the one.
You're the one.
Six.
Years. Yeah, it's all good.
No, you look amazing. And we love the bangs.
Yeah.
Feel free to comment, everyone, on this show about Mary Beth's bangs.
I just did. I just commented in the chat about the
Did you?
band.
Okay, good.
Frankly.
Good. If we don't say anything about your comment, it's not that this show isn't live. It's that we are too in love with each other to read what you're writing. So
I will not be either.
Well, let's keep this train rolling and bring in a third amazing woman. She's from the pretty famous improv troupe called Bottle of Red with another person. She was a writer for Detroiters, associate artistic director for the training center in Los Angeles for the Second City. And I don't know her, I should have asked this beforehand, but her current title in Chicago, but I think it's some sort of artistic direction. That was something I wrote on my list with a question mark that I was going to ask before the show, and then I didn't. So when she gets here, we'll get it right.
I'll ask her in the chat right now.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure,
Jess, look out. Amy's gunning for your job.
Title.
Megs, I'm pretty sure it's Madam Important.
Madam Important of Second City, Chicago. Please warmly welcome Nancy Hayden.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Oh, hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
I'm just doing a little reading to catch up for my job as Madam Importante at the second. Little John Grisham's The Rainmaker.
Oh, I hope Naima's got a good entrance work.
Jeez, let's give her a few minutes. She might be running around the house
high.
looking for something.
Hey, girls.
Hey, girl.
Oh, hey.
How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm in Southgate, Michigan. I'm visiting my family. I'm getting some post-vaccination hugs. I'm in Michigan for the first time in like almost 2 years. It's great.
So you came in for
how's the
June
festival?
4th.
The festival is, here's the thing. I didn't read the entire email that it was virtual, so I drove to Michigan for the festival. And I'm at the Ant Hall all alone.
Wow.
In the dressing room.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, honey.
So it might be virtual for you guys, but I'm going to be on that stage because I'm dedicated.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't get to be Madame Importante just phoning it in.
That's right.
True.
That's it. No, you don't. You definitely do not.
Well, let's move on and set a Hey Girl record for our largest panel because we've only ever had 3 guests before. So tonight is extra special in a lot of ways. It's the most returning guests. The only time that everyone's all on the same troupe.
Oh, yeah.
And the most. And, well, no, we did have an all Detroiters one before, but this is more Detroiters than that. All right. Well, let's bring our last wonderful guest to the stage. You have seen her on Wild and Out and Whose Line Is It Anyway? And Key and Peele. Please welcome the wonderful Naima Fong.
Yes.
Oh my God.
She's in the process of re-recording it.
Holy shit.
She's re-recording it as we speak, playing all the roles.
She doesn't know what it is. She's taking calls.
Heighten.
Oh,
hey, girl.
Oh, hey, girl.
Oh, hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Listening to Prince on my record player.
Naima, I want you to re-record that album and play every part. A little Apollonia, a little Prance.
Play every part.
Oh, I'll do every part. Every. Because Prince was all of them.
Wendy and Lisa.
Wendy, yes, Lisa.
Yes, Lisa.
You have to make out with yourself.
Yes,
It's about the water being more.
dummy. Touch the water, you idiot, Lisa. It's obviously sorry.
Please keep
Got
going.
some deep memories.
It's a deep cut. It's a deep cut, y'all. It's a deep cut, y'all.
Deep cut.
Ooh,
Hi,
child.
Naima. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Life is great. I miss you, ladies.
Miss you, Naima.
It's good to see y'all.
I'd like to do this because we haven't seen each. It's
Yeah.
just so long. So I'm so excited.
It's only what I can catch on your Ring cameras when I'm able to log on. She's that friend.
Well, it is funny though. Like, I always would hear from friends in LA when everybody was there. Is like, don't get it twisted. We're not together every other minute because I would see these parties and have this terrible like FOMO, like they they lunch and then have lunch.
We only get together when
party
people
all
come
night.
to town.
Right, and then COVID hits, so then you really don't.
No,
Right.
absolutely not.
So, which I'm glad I knew at some point because whenever the full court press was like, when are you coming to LA so we can all be together? We'd come out and be like, all together, right? Right. I'll move there. I'll never see your ass.
It's true. It's true.
It's
I'm
true.
glad to unite you through
Aw.
the
You're a
internet.
uniter, Megs. You're a uniter.
I've been told
You
that.
are
Mhm, mhm,
a
mhm.
conduit. A conduit.
Conduit. So thank you for joining me, and thank you for always having a great showing at the Detroit Women of Comedy Festival. I think it's you guys are a great example of what women can do, especially together.
Well, based on how this weekend is going, I think we're really killing it so far. And
I think so.
Our show was great. Our show was the best thing we've ever done.
I don't know if it's
It was.
It was weird when they wouldn't let us leave the stage.
Yeah, that
And the
was-
audience
that was
like,
weird.
keep improvising. We're like, but there's other shows, and they're like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Go.
That was weird. Yeah, you're right.
we want yours. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
As I thought about your troupe, I realized there's stuff I don't know about Mama's Boy. So how did the founding of this well, first of all, let me Amy, since you
Yes.
brought the fun energy, tell everybody who's not familiar with Mama's Boy about how the troupe plays and what's special about it.
What's special about it is friendship, because I'm not even trying to be, I'm not even trying to be corny. My little pony. Oh, I thought we were doing that. Okay. So it's interesting because when Nancy moved to LA, like she was the last out of the group of us to move here, and it was like a tug of war for everyone was like, Nancy, let's improvise, Nancy. And so what
Battle of
ended
the
up
Ball.
happening was, yes, she was like, my dance card is full. Let me see.
I can't do all these shows for free.
I do carry an improv dance card around my wrist. And I let people write their names down when they want to play with me.
Oh, that's funny.
So she basically solved the problem, and in doing so was like, you know what? I have a great idea. Let's do an improv show with us gal pals as friends. And instead of it being like, when does a female group get together and have a male guest, one male guest? It's usually the opposite, where it's like one female and a group of all men. And so really Nancy flipped the table on that and came up with this amazing idea that is just very female empowered, and then came up with the name Mama's Boy, that a male guest would always be our guest. And every once in a while we do have a female, as seen in the Detroit Women's Festival. But and so that's really how it was born. I mean, that's how I recall it, unless that's not, am I right?
Anyone want to correct Amy on her bullshit description on the origins of Mama's Boy?
I think
Maribeth?
Amy nailed it. No, Amy nailed it. But I want Nancy to give her line that she does in her intros about.
Oh yeah.
It's my favorite line.
No, well, it was first of all, it was absolutely the way Amy described it, and it was because I moved to town and had a separate conversation with each of these. We just have these besties from our Detroit Second City days, right? Of like, these are the people that you laughed the hardest with in your entire life. And I moved to town. I'm like, I've got to play with each of these girls. So I had a conversation with each of them of like, we're gonna play together. And then I just thought, well, I only like to leave my house one night a month. So how can I selfishly get them down? I thought, well, what the hell? Why don't we all play together? So that was that. And then, it was, I did come up with the idea of like, what if the five of us play with a male guest? But you know who named us was Jamie. Jamie came up with the name Mama's Boy. So credit to Jamie.
Very good.
Who's not here. She actually named us. Yeah. So, and then that was it. And so in the intros, when we would play at the Second City Hollywood, we started off playing like every other week or something. We played a lot. And then we moved it to like once a month or something. So we started running out of dudes. But we would always say that we thought when we formed the troupe that we thought it would be really nice of us to play with a guy as our guest so that we could help the guys out a little bit and give them a little bit of stage time.
Oh, I love that so
Because
much.
they never get enough stage time. That line always killed.
I'm glad you mentioned it, Nancy, and I'm embarrassed to have taken this long to mention that there is one member of Mama's Boy that was unable to join us today. She's fine. I mean, she's in good health and everything. She's unable to be with us today.
Green
We're gonna
M&M.
pour one out for Jamie Moy.
We've got a 5-woman rule, so if
Right.
there's ever, we put one out.
Good point. Yep.
So since Margaret's here, thank you, Margaret. We
It
have
was nice of her to make room for me, to be honest.
5-woman rule.
But obviously, Jamie is a phenomenal talent and a dear friend, and we love her and wish she could be here. And I'm only going to resent her, through the festival weekend, and then I'll get over it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next question, because that answered sort of the founding one that I had next. Naima, what's it like to have like the one guy and all these women? Like, how does that vibe feel as opposed to a lot of the other you've done?
It's, to be honest, I'm playing with my girls, with my friends, and so it's always on a different level because it's just laughter and having a good time playing. So it really doesn't matter what guy is there, because we're going to always have a good time doing it. One of the differences with this show is that sometimes the guy is not an improviser.
Okay.
He's an actor, and so our jobs as improvisers becomes what I think a lot of us have done on TV, which when we improvise, which is helping someone who's a non-improviser do what we do and making them look good. So in that respect, it's sort of an easy role to step into because, I think we all know that feeling, right, ladies, of improvising with non-improv people. So
you did a show like that, right? On TV?
Yeah.
Glad you're here.
Yes, glad you're here.
UNMB. MB was on that too.
UNMB, right?
Yeah, thank God you're here. Are you giving us a thumbs down?
No, I'm pointing at Mary Beth. I'm pointing at Mary Beth on my screen. She's right there. There she is. That's her. Mary Beth. Mary Beth.
I was like, dang, what's that about?
Dang.
But yeah, it was exactly that. And Wild and Out as well. You have people who are performers, who may be actors or who may be rappers. But doing the improv thing is a completely different muscle. It's a completely different skill, and one that is scary a lot of times, which I think the whole Mama's Boy thing is actually good for a lot of these guys when they are a little scared, and we can tell because we're there to mama them, and like, it's cool, we got you. Because improv is very scary. For a lot of guys, and I think it's intimidating when they see the caliber of women that they're going to be improvising with. And it's like, we got you, you're safe with us till you're not.
Until I can get a bigger laugh by showing you out.
Right. And you'll know when that happens. No, but what do you ladies think?
I was just going to piggyback because we had Asif Manvi as a guest way back when. And, he's a comedy guy. He was on Daily Show. He's so funny, great actor. And I just remember him coming off stage and being like, that was the most exciting, fun thing I've ever done. Why is it? He literally said, like, why aren't all of these women like famous? Like, you guys are hilarious. Like, he just was so blown away by the experience. And I think, he has probably improvised, I'm assuming, but he's not an improviser, and I don't believe he does stand up either. So I think that, but what Naima was saying, he's an actor and he's funny and he definitely understands comedy, but to do this experience, it's like, I think they surprise themselves. And then I also think this is such a skilled group of women that they do feel so incredibly supported that I don't think we've ever had a show where like a guy tanked or like someone who wasn't an improviser tanked, because we just, I think, know
we're not going to let them.
We're not going to let them. Exactly. Yeah. So I just, that's probably my biggest memory of that. He was just like blown away. But like,
what is this thing?
That was a fun show.
And then you get people like Wayne Brady, who improvises all the time.
Oh my God, that was
ridiculous.
Like the storytelling improvisation is different. Like he does games.
Yeah.
What we're doing is improv, but in a different format. So he is blown away as well, because it's you might have people that, of course, do comedy, do improv, but what we're doing is it's up here, guys. You can't even see where it is on the screen.
I don't know how high it's going.
I need another screen.
I was just having that conversation with somebody, I think yesterday, because, we've been around a lot of environments. If you're an improviser, you're around a lot of environments where actors or other people like shit on it, and they have a very specific idea of like, a sad troupe in a bar with a hockey game playing behind them, trying to make like $10 doing games or whatever.
Which is true.
Which is true.
That is true.
But they don't have the experience of seeing something like you guys and what you're able to do storytelling wise and connection wise and getting to that, and I hate the word, but magic place of improv where it's like, Well,
and I think that even the ones who are improvisers and are, we've played with, in my opinion, some of the best improvisers in the world. I think there's a little bit of nerves there because they walk backstage and they're like, oh, I've done this 1,000 times. And then they're backstage and they're like, oh, I'm about to play alone with 5 women. I've never done this in my entire life. And that's one of my favorite things about the show is like, I think that really makes the dudes nervous. And it's like, yeah, welcome to our world. It's played a set with 5 dudes in my life. Like so many times I've been the only woman on stage. And so to flip that script a little bit and to just say like, we will totally have your back. We will, because we do this opener where we tag each other out and he literally plays our son. And we're celebrating a first in his life. So like for driver's license, loss of virginity, graduation, whatever. And we tag each other out pretty rapid fire and play his mom. We all play the same mom. And I think it's a really good way to kick off the set because I like to think that from that very first scene, we're setting up this feeling of like, we will literally have your back. We will literally not let you fail, And then there's also the built-in benefit of, again, and I'm so lucky in this regard, and I think we all are, of like knowing each other as well as we do off stage. And so there's that whole thing of like, that I think the 313 benefits from, that you and I benefit from, Mags, and that like this group benefits from too, is like, these are your girls for 20 something years. Oh. We all went to kindergarten together in 1999.
The last time Mary Beth had pains.
Full circle, you guys. Thanks. Circle of life.
That helps too.
I think it could also be very easy for us if we wanted to have a show where we bring the guy out and don't support, and it's all about making them look, dumb or whatever.
Yeah. But that have a tough time getting guests.
That's not that makes it more difficult on us, I think. I mean, it could probably be easier to do that because it's easy to, you get them up on stage. The audience might love seeing that, like, finally, the chance for women to make, the guy play the stripper. But what we're doing is bringing them up and elevating them while elevating ourselves, which isn't easy, and still having fun, but it's that makes it even more difficult for us. So it's fun to set ourselves up to have to pull that off,
I'm glad we didn't go with our first name, which was Men Say the Stupidest Thing.
Right.
I'm glad Jamie came in with Mama's voice.
Right.
I do love, like, when we are prepping the guests backstage and we're doing, we always do warm-ups. We always do warm-ups before the show. It's very rare that we skip it. And I often think that's sort of like when you said the nerves kind of hit, where you see the guys like, oh, okay, this is because we are having so much fun, even just in the warm-ups. Like, we're crying, laughing. Right, we're really committing hard. And because we want to give them a sense of like, this is what it's going to be like when we go out there. Like, it's not a light show. It's not going to like take its time to find the story. Like, we're going to
build
jump which is always so fun. I always love the before the show warm-ups because that gets me in the mindset of it too. And one of the things that we like to prep them and tell them is like, oh, you come out, like, this is your playground. You come out anytime you want. You play any character you want. You know, if you want to come in 5 million times in this scene, do it. Like, so they have free range. So there's just no structure. Like, we're there, we're going to have fun, we're going to play, but like you do you, and you come in whenever you're comfortable. And I think that really helps the guests to feel like, okay, cool. Well, I don't have to come into the scene because they said I don't have to. Oh, but I really want to. And it's really fun to see how often, how quickly they get in there and play and aren't, you know, afraid to. Yeah, it's great.
It's rare that we have a scene without the guy in it, which is cool.
Yes.
Yes. I was going to say too, just to piggyback on what Amy said, I do think there is such an energy about the show. Like, I think because of those warm-ups, like she said, they're not going to walk in thinking like, oh, we're going to do some deep, really thoughtful explorations of philosophy. You know, like, set it up like this is fast, we play fun, we will play, you know, dudes. And I think also these women, all of us in this group, I just feel like are so versatile in their character work that like that also we're so character driven that it just adds to like we can play guys, we can, you know, and we're very unafraid to go there, unafraid to be ugly, unafraid to be, you know, unsavory. It just kind of makes it a really fun experience. And I think, like Amy said, they pick up on that and then they can't help but get swept up in Amy's energy specifically. So,
you know, I also think we do a good job of, yes, feel free to come out into any scene, but we will hold you accountable. What you come out and do. So you're not going to come out and call us all whores. And
right.
Like,
oh, yeah.
They'll get turned around.
That's like, there's a level.
I call myself
I'm being called a whore. It's
right.
going to be
I will label myself here. Thank you very much. But we will hold you accountable for what you come out and do. And also we will set a bar at a level where, yes, feel comfortable to come out, like I said, but if you go there, we're gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna
own what you initiate.
Yes. So I'm not gonna play gentle with you if you go, but you know, like Mama will subtly, you know, like no,
say it, honey. What were you gonna say?
Right, yeah. Which is a good thing to teach, which is a good thing for the audience. I think it makes the women in the audience feel safe. It makes because there is always that sense of a guy coming out and hoping he can label something and see what they can get away with, and that sort of thing, which I think we all handle in a really good way without being preachy. With you know what I'm saying? That can be
just rolling over. Yeah.
And it was fun to watch it grow too. Like we would, you know, in the beginning it was like, hey, will you come play with us? And then pretty quickly, and you know, after around the first year or so of playing, like people were reaching out to us to play, and again, I think it's a unique experience for the guy too. And that wasn't the intention. It was just like, let's get together and play with our best friends who are hilarious, who happen to be these women, and then we'll play with one guy. That was the novelty to it, but it wasn't like we're going to teach you a lesson of what it's like to be the only one in a set. Like,
exactly.
But it had that unintended effect of like they'd get off stage and be like, "Whoa, I've never done that before."
Never played with the same women. Yeah. What I think the one thing that the show ruined for me is that I don't want to play with like anybody else anymore. Like it got really bad. I'd be invited to do shows and I'm like, it's just not going to be as fun. I will.
But like it's a valid feeling. It was weird that you posted that on Facebook.
And then deleted your profile. That was a lot.
Yeah, quite a reputation.
Now her image picture is just a big anti-circle.
I'm still trying to imagine a guest calling you whores in the set, like what that kind of lead balloon would feel like, just with like such strong, smart, like good player women.
It would be great. I think it would be great because it would be like, whoa, game on.
I just imagine you all looking at each other like, shall we?
I feel like we'd all go, oh, okay, that just happened. Now we're
Right?
gonna roll
I
with
think-
this. Like, I think it'd be hilarious to us of like, wow, you just did that, and now watch out because you will be dealt with. You know,
You would like
Oh,
walk
yeah.
out off stage like carrying his own ass. You know what I mean? Like that you just tore off.
I think we'd have to cut to the backstage after the show. Like, did he really just do that? Oh my god! Ooh. Like,
Right?
That's
Oh.
great.
So Amy, start us off with this one. Do you have a favorite guest or a memory of a guest?
Man.
I gotta say, Wayne Brady was like,
Oh,
that was just personally for me. I have just been a fan of his for so long. So when I found out that he was gonna do the show, thank you, Naima, Mary Beth. I don't know if you had a hand in it. I'm not sure, but
it was all night.
it was all Naima. I was like, oh my god, and I
It was
was
really
so
early on
nervous.
too. Remember, it was really
Was that
early.
it? Was
And
that
then
at
we-
the Second
yeah.
City space?
Yeah, it was for
Yeah.
wasn't it for their not
open house thing
no,
or
it's the
something?
open house.
Yeah.
Oh,
Freely.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Anybody
Yeah.
unfamiliar, Mama's Boy was predominantly based out of the Second City Los Angeles performance space, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
I have to
So-
say, but I
It was a
think
great show.
on a just a eye candy level, I think Matt McGorry was all of our favorites.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's right. I
Oh
forgot
my
about
God.
that. That was
You
awesome.
remember
Oh yeah.
how often we
good.
made excuses to touch his arms?
Oh my god!
We made
Harry,
constant
I was
excuses to touch his arms.
Oh, I love the thirsty Mama's Boy set.
Matt McGorry. Woo. Yeah. It was a good one.
That would be like probably the one thing that would be like kind of throw you all off your game. As it was just like, you know, Chris Hemsworth played with you or whoever.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
I mean,
that would be awesome.
Henry
Yeah.
Cavill, you know.
Aquaman, just
Right.
God.
Jason
Wow.
Momoa.
yeah. Thank you,
Right.
Jason Momoa. That's his name. He
I got
does
And that
have a
was
name.
very, very funny. He was very super funny. So, not trying to make it all
Yeah.
terms. He was really funny.
All the
Any
guys
other
from
memorable
Workaholics were really fun. The
Yeah, the
Workaholics
Workaholics
guys,
were
all
all
three of
really
them,
fun.
they were
Those were
great.
three great shows.
Yeah, that was really nice of them to do too. Like they were really funny and they loved it. And again, it was just like the same reaction. Like, oh my god, you guys are all so hilarious, and that was so fun. So
Yeah.
Did they each play individually or
Yep.
all together? Okay.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
each played individually. Yeah, I'd have to say I agree totally with the Wayne Brady show. Obviously, there was a lot of Make a Song, which is fun for all of us. We all love to sing, so that was a blast. You know, one of my favorites was the Paul F. Tompkins show in Detroit
oh,
Mm.
for the DIF, I guess it was,
Mhm.
in that big hall thing above the restaurant.
Yeah.
Right? He's just, I mean, yeah, that's one of those shows for me personally, because, you know, Margaret and I sat in our apartment and watched every episode of Mr. Show like 9,000 times. So
God.
that for me personally was like, he's so quick, he's so funny. And I loved the shows that were just a joy and just laughing all throughout it anyhow. And because that's one of my favorite things about playing with you guys. And because Margaret, when I play with you, we never get a chance to watch, right? And so being backstage with you guys, we're all like, we go off and hang in the wings, but we're all just like laughing the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, and I'll look across the stage, like if MB is backstage on the other side and Jamie's on stage doing a scene, we're both just looking at each other, just dying, like tears. Like you're just all so funny. And I remember having
That would be really weird if you and I did that in our show.
there'd be no one on stage.
Although I do laugh at you a lot.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we just do the laughing on stage.
In the scene.
right.
But I remember that with Paul, like just laughing during the show. And that was one of those shows where I was like fanning out and watching him play, you know, while being on stage with him. Just, he's so funny. So that was a great one for me. But
And
there
your
was
guest for the festival this weekend is another old
also one of
Detroit
our
family
favorite
member,
of all time. Yeah, another family member. Yeah.
Mark Evan Jackson.
That's right. Also, I think that the shows, you know, those are some of our like favorite celebrity, like comedy friend shows, but the shows we play with those dudes who are our brothers,
yeah.
you know, playing with Joshua, playing with Warzy, playing with Jax.
Joshua Funk, Mark
Mhm.
Warzeka.
Those
Mark
are a whole nother level, because it's like it's then it's like there's a sixth one of us, because we can read his mind as well as so. And man,
you're not doing any of that come with me stuff either.
Yes. Or
Right.
You're going to be okay. It's more like, oh, we're off to the races. We're all
and they know us, so they don't have to feel like they're kind of getting to know us and what is this going to be, and like it's like follow the follower. They're leading as much as we are. I'm super excited to play with Jax next weekend, because he's one of my favorite people to play with ever. He's just so smart and so funny. And there he is. And there he is.
I don't know why.
It's also fun to do shows with people where you, like the show might start and you go, oh, we didn't do a technical, like we technically didn't warm up, but we were warming up because of how we interact and how we talk and how we
doing bits in the dressing room.
Which are all part of, obviously warming up is a great thing to do to get you all on that same rhythmic page, I suppose. But there is something to be said, and I think this goes back to, Nancy, what you were saying about being backstage and laughing and loving what's going on stage. There is a sort of Detroit thing, I'll say it, where we are supportive with each other while we're in a scene, while we're off stage, before the show, after the show. It's this constant sort of, we're constantly creating with each other, which I know I feel with you guys on stage. It's like, sometimes I forget, like, was that a show or was that live?
Nice.
I'm totally with you on that, Naima, because I'm pretty bad about warming up. I just want to talk and laugh before the show.
You've never warmed up.
And I don't like to do it. But every home team show, the Planet Ant was always like, half of it was always callbacks to the conversation we had in the green room before the show. And that was the way at Second City too, I think, oh yeah, that you were telling that pooped your pants story. I'm totally going to bring it into this scene,
Oh my God, my favorite thing to do.
If there's a bit going on between us, and if there's a bit going on in someone's life in that moment, it's 100% going to make it into the show.
Oh.
And the challenge is, can it be funny? Can you, like, is that like, ooh, too deep, too inside, way too inside? That was just a thought you had. Or is it a funny enough bit? And I think we have all learned from that. Like, if it's a story that Nancy's telling, then MB plays her when we, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know how to write and how to bring stuff to the stage,
And everyone has their strengths, type-wise and character-wise. Like,
there you go.
One of my favorite dynamics is MB playing a dude out on a date with me.
Oh my God!
Like Mary Beth and Amy on a date together is always good.
Yeah.
That's always good comedy. Mary Beth is
my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I just, because I know I can get as uncomfortable as possible with Amy. Will just yes and it in the most lovely, girly way.
I know. I remember, I can't remember if we kissed or something, but I was like, and then after the show, I was like, your face is so soft. I had no idea. What are you using on your skin?
That's the only reason I'm so good.
Oh, that's great.
Waiting for skin compliments.
That's great.
That is a great thing, and it tends to happen more when we're obviously playing with just women, is the opportunity to play men. And I think personally, and I'd love to hear what you guys think, I think that women approach playing men in a very different way than men approach playing women, because I feel like it's gotten better over time, but so often when men play women, it's Monty Python level of where we're like, we get into the being a guy. Some people do the spit and grab your crotch thing, but for the most part, I think we're really trying to get into the mindset of playing guys. So I don't know if anybody has a comment on that.
I have a quick comment. I also don't think men go to playing women very quickly. I think they're much more reticent, and I think that they don't look at it as an option as quickly as women playing men is an option. At least when I've played with with men, but and I also think, you know, it's when you are the now I'm gonna get a little political, like, so when you're the subjugated, you know,
Yes.
gender, I think you do a lot of examination of the gender that's keeping you down. So
Yes, right.
ideas and lots of character choices you can go to explore that on stage. If you're on the top, you're not really looking at who's
Absolutely.
Well,
Right.
it's funny because
they're as creative. You
nope.
know, with it.
The master's thesis I never wrote, but always wanted to, was about how typically, historically, when men play women, it's a comedy, and when women play men, it's not. Because it's about, you know, why would a man lower himself to dress as a woman? And women are trying to get, you know, in a historical setting, are trying to get freedom and empowerment and be able to go places they couldn't go alone, or you know, things like that. So
well, and also when a guy plays a woman, chances are he's going to be playing a lower status character, and when a woman plays a man, it's usually because we also usually play like this very wide range of men too, that like there's a difference between like a burnout dude trying to get over on you at a party and like Amy playing the mayor of Hollywood or something with a big mustache, you know, like some of Jamie's men are the funniest characters I've ever seen, because she, like when she comes in as like the boss of a company or the mayor of
or
a
a judge,
a judge. They're like these, but they're these ridiculous like Monopoly guys. Like,
yes.
Oh, they're so funny.
All of them have a vest with a watch chain.
Right. Right. But that's different. It depends on the scene. Like she'll come into a cast scene as a character like that, but then if we'll do like, you know, like a slower 2-person scene, like that's very different from like Mary Beth as a dude on a date with Amy and like a 2-person relationship scene, you know? So yeah, it's all a nice character examination.
And I just got a thought. Nancy does a killer like sports watching guy, like a very like athletic, sporty dude. That wants it. It's
you do,
I don't remember ever playing guys a lot when I first started out. I actually started playing men with you, Mags, because it was like, because I think also
lady softballer.
Because in a 2-woman or in a 2-person anything, like there isn't a guy there. So like when we wrote our 2-woman sketch show, it was like we had to play the guys. And so that was where I discovered that love of like playing the other gender. And then it's the same thing with us. It's like there's only one other guy on stage with us. So if we need another dude, it just has to be one of us.
Right.
And I think that like, it's funny that we mentioned like Monty Python or Kids in the Hall. Cause again, there's been a lot of all male troupes throughout history where if they needed a woman, they had to play one of the women. But yeah, the only time it ever bothered me was if there's like, you know, 4 guys and 2 women on stage, and 3 of the guys will do a scene, and it's 2 guys, and one of the guys is playing a woman, and the real 2 women are on the back line, like,
right?
Hey,
why am I here?
We're here.
And also, like playing a woman, like really leaning into the like low status end of it, or you know what I mean? Like, it's like I don't know, my boobs are so heavy, I can't think right now. You know, like kind of shit. No, Nancy played a character. We had a scene where I was like on a softball team for work, and she was the guy that was just like there watching and yelling a bunch of shit to me. And it's one of the funniest things ever. And we quoted at my house all the time. Hey, lady softballer.
This guy who hung out by the fence at the softball. Softball diamond.
So I think, you know, there's something kind of magical. God, I keep using that word today. About the bond and support amongst the women of this troupe and the community that we're from, because that's not always the case with women, right? Like we don't always support in this way. Like outside of, you know, the Detroiters you work with or your troupe, have you run into that sort of, you know, backbiting competitiveness?
I was in this troupe one time that I was appalled. That I was literally appalled. This person on the sideline literally was saying things about the person who was on stage, going, "Oh, this again," or like, "Oh, great, I am not kidding you." I was appalled, disgusted, and to this day I will refuse to associate with that person because it is like so disrespectful. Even if you have a problem with the way someone plays whatever, and these aren't like amateur people, and I know who she was talking about because she made it very clear. But how are you supposed to trust somebody if you hear them shit talking someone who's right in front of them? I had never experienced that before. And because obviously, you know, Detroit and I mean, Planet Ant, the whole community that is built up by you, all of the ladies here, and everyone who surrounds the community in improv, like it's so supportive, and you wouldn't think to ever do something like that. So when I got to Hollywood, I was like,
you'd be walking out with your ass in your hand.
Yeah, terrible. You know, so it's like you said, it's not always like that, and it's a rude awakening when you see it.
Yeah. I'd say back in the day when I was on a main stage, I'll leave it at that. I was taken I had a really difficult relationship with one of the female cast members when I joined the cast. And it was like, I felt I was so young and like eager at the time that I was trying to do everything to tap dance to get her to like me. Like I was inviting her to brunch and like, I was like complimenting her like crazy. And I just remember it was so kind of sad looking back because she was not nice to me. And then I came off stage one day and she just took me aside, like literally took me into a bathroom and said, the line is this. And she was like, beep, bop, boop, bop, bop. And I go, okay. And she's like, I need you to say it like that. And I was like, and she's like, just say yes. And I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, oh, there's no winning this person over. I'm like, stop. But it was just so, and you know, I don't, you know, I really don't want to say, I feel like anytime there's a change in a cast or anytime someone new comes in, there's always this like transition period of like, there's some like, oh God, how are they going to fit in? Like whatever, maybe there's some intimidation or like, what is this going to do to our dynamic? Maybe they lost someone that they loved and now this new person's in, whatever it is. But it's like this feeling of being threatened. And you know, I do think with a woman, we are really great at being able to hurt people in really clever, you know, subtle ways. Like I think more so than men. So I feel like the confrontations I've had with women felt so much more hurtful and like scary than like idiot. Because in a way I'm like, you're just a dude idiot that's sexist and I can almost write it off. But with a woman it's like, oh my God, I want you to like me, or like I want us to get along. And I don't know, it's like it can be very hard. So anyway, I think, but overall my experience, I will say, just like with this group, I've had more wonderful experiences with women and better connections and better scenes and better work relationships with women than I've ever had with men. Truly.
Interesting. Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that dynamic, Mary Beth, because it reminded me, like I've fallen into that, you know, both on the not proud of how I behaved and also not been treated wonderfully. And I think some of it is like, you know, in a traditional cast, you have, you know, say 4 guys and 2 women, or 3 and 3 if you're lucky. But if in that, especially in that 4 and 2 setup, there's only so much cake for the women. You know what I mean? And I think, and there's a certain, Naeem and I were lucky we got along. I mean, we had moments, everybody has moments, but you could be pitted against each other almost, you know, or, you know, I got to get mine, or, you know, who do the boys want to put in their scenes, right? Or who does the audience love more? So it's easy to fall prey to that.
In Chicago, I felt a lot of that on the main stage. Definitely, there was a lot of just hate, but it was all for me. I could back up anything with my talent, so I've never felt the need to dial into that at all, you know. And I'm talking hate just from like, why do you get that role, to why are you wearing earrings, to too much makeup, or you can't be funny if you're wearing makeup, which I am sort of like, I don't even realize I've put makeup on. That's how often I wear makeup. Like, it's just who I am. But I love the challenge of someone thinking that would be a reason why I'm not talented, or that could be something you could whisper in my ear that would, you know, mess me up. Like, you know, you come, like, I'm not here for that. We're hired. And we got a job. And one of the things I love about Detroit, again, is that we all back each other up with that talent. So if somebody wants to say something about me or Keegan being on a stage in Chicago, and now Mary Beth being brought on the stage, I know she's got the talent. So there's nothing anybody can say. Like, you can sort of tell that it's all just hating.
Right.
You know, jealousy sort of thing. But we back it up with what, you know, like.
Yeah, the Detroit thing's a really great point, because that's the number one thing that people ask me all the time, and I'm sure you guys too, is like, how do you guys run so deep? How do you get along so well? It's like anytime, you know, in that Friends reunion, I saw one of them say, like, if one of us runs into another one at a party, I don't know if you guys have watched that yet. They're like, if one of us runs into another at a cocktail party, that's it. That's the end of the night. Like, we're just going to be together the rest of the night. And that's 100% how I feel about the Second City Detroit folks. And I've been really, really lucky but I also feel like in that I have felt a lot of love throughout my improv career, but I also think I've crafted it that way. Like, I think I play with the people I love, and not that I don't want to play with other people, and not that I don't go and play other shows when I'm invited. But if I'm going to make a troupe that I'm going to play with on the leg, it's going to be with my family. And like, because then I get the added bonus of, like, some of those shows that we got to do in the Second City Hollywood were the only time we saw each other. You know?
Yeah.
And so like it's time with your girls, and it's time with your family. And these people make me laugh the hardest in my life off stage. So of course those are people that I want to spend my time with on stage. And I feel like ever since I was in the main stage in Detroit, I just kind of I feel like I was very lucky with the people I worked with there. And then I just kind of kept crafting. I would gravitate towards the people that made me laugh the hardest in the world.
Who also want to work.
Yeah,
that's another thing too. Who make you laugh, who want to do a Tuesday movie day, who want to write an album, who like all of that stuff. You know, earlier, Margaret, you were talking about how it always seems like people out in California, the Detroiters, were together all the time, and the times that we are together, we are getting together and laughing, but we're also getting together and performing. And as y'all know, each time you perform, it's like, at least for me, it's like you get to that level of, like, it's like skydiving, you know, it's scary, and you sort of go there, and it's so each time we're all together, we're not just together chilling, we're together doing something that's fun and exciting and exhilarating, and you know, like, so it makes it so much deeper when we are together, because not only are we having fun, but we're also making people laugh, which is not easy to do.
But speaking of that Friends reunion, didn't you guys think it was so interesting that Matthew Perry he admittedly said, like, if I didn't get a laugh on stage, I felt like I wanted to die. And just that need to just have to go there so hard, and if the audience didn't laugh, how deeply he felt that, and that he can't watch old Friends episodes, I thought was so it was so sad to hear, because he's so brilliant, and yet you realize the struggle of an entertainer or whatever is going on in his head. And I just thought, wow, I'm so glad he opened up about that, because I think there are a lot of people who can really relate with that on some level. I don't know if that stood out to you, but I was shocked that he said that. It was really amazing.
You know what I think is the antidote to that is improv. I feel like you fail so, and not just improv, but getting to do the main stage, like getting to do a resident company at the Second City or at any theater that has a resident, just getting to play 7 shows a week. It rids you of that, because you have to, you're going to fail. Like, you're 100% going to fail. When you're playing an improv set in front of 12 drunk people on a Sunday night, when they're the only ones left for the set, like, I remember starting in the main stage and being like, oh my God, they didn't laugh. I'm the worst. And then I remember didn't take very long at all, that those shows where you get 0 laughs at all. And like Margaret and I always call them the Michigan J. Frog moments, when you're like performing as strong as you can and nobody laughs. And it's like, and and those are the nights when I would get the giggles. Like nobody would be laughing at the main stage show, and I would go off stage after a scene and just be cracking up. I was like, oh my God, they're not laughing. This is hilarious.
Honest to God, I have to, and Nancy, you will remember this. One of the worst cases of laughing at how horrible it's going was we did a corporate show, I think through Planet Ant, for the Metro Times at the Royal Oak Music Theater.
Oh my
that was
God.
part of this like fashion and dessert.
We were so
thing.
far away.
And we were on a stage. I think there were 2 handheld mics. It was a totally like strolling event. So nobody was sitting in an audience. They were just sort of milling around. And there were like 2 people in like Renaissance Festival costumes watching us, but otherwise everybody else was just like eating cake and wearing things.
Yes.
And it was the 2 of us, and I think Josh Funk and Topher Owen, maybe. And at a certain point, the din of the room was just louder than we were. And so we were basically just saying whatever the hell we felt like saying into the mics, looking at each other, just like cracking up. Like, what is this for?
Commenting on the fact that they weren't laughing. We were like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
We were like,
do you even think anyone knows we're doing a show right now? Like, was this stuff that we were saying into the mic? No.
That, like, touring and doing a main stage show for no crowd at all, like that, it absolutely rids you of fear because you just fail so hard that it becomes hilarious. And then once you do that, once you can just fall on your face, like there's nothing that can scare you after that on stage. Like it just really is. It's a great skill.
The funny thing is though, and this may be part of where I am, and I don't know if this happened to anybody else here, but it's a spectrum, right? Because it starts off like Mary Beth really made me think about it like being 20 something and like, okay, I'm talented, life is amazing, let's do it. I mean, you had that energy in spades, girl. I mean, we all wanted to draw on that from you. But so there's that era. Amazing. And then like your 30s where you're like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing. I feel confident in this, but I'm also more diplomatic and cautious, whatever. And then I get deep into my 40s and then the imposter syndrome creeps in and all the ways to find anxiety and ways that I'm,
and that's when you only leave your house to improvise with people you love.
Right. Or you only improvise online because there's a fucking pandemic.
Just to piggyback on that for a second, Megs.
It's a setup. Like, do it.
I go to therapy, and at one point, I said to my therapist, hand to God, I was like, I just feel like in my 20s, I was so fearless, and I would just say whatever I wanted.
You literally were, though.
I was. I know.
That's amazing.
To a point of like, holy shit, like really. I recognize that now, but she said literally what you basically just said. She's like, yeah, but then you get older and you become diplomatic. Like you start to make smart decisions based on what you want to say. And I was like, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. I need to I don't miss that time too much, but that's this like longing, I think sometimes of like how clueless I was, or honestly selfish I was, of like how what I was saying was impacting people. Because I was like, what? Don't we all do this? Just say what we want?
Brave. You were brave.
Well, it's like ignorance is bliss, right? Like, it's like ignorance is bliss. You didn't know the shit to be worried about.
Yeah.
And then later, especially if you become a mom, then like I just went down a rabbit hole and it became my Nona, where it's like if someone's 10 minutes late, they don't have a flat tire, they're dead in a ditch, So age and motherhood can really change.
I'm Nona as well. I hear you.
Yep. I was literally reading. I was trying to write last night and I was so distracted. I Googled how to stop worrying. And then I was reading an article. I was like, get some exercise and, like all these things. But
if you see my Google searches, I'm right up there with you, my friend. So there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that.
Can hiccups kill you?
I just wanted to find like if there was a magic eraser version for like the things that replay,
Right. Yes.
Well, believe it or not, we need to get to these awards of because talking to you guys makes time go by too fast.
Oh,
Sorry, you guys is not an appropriate term these days. You people.
you
Mamas.
Your mamas.
you mamas.
Your mamas. So if you're joining us for the first time, A, shame on you. But B, we have a segment called the Ally Award, wherein our guests give out currently verbal, someday tactile awards to people who have supported them, who have bolstered them, who have helped them become the people that they are, or who are just general great influences or presences in the lives of our guests. So so let's give away some awards. Why don't we start with Naima? Would you like to give away your award? I'm excited about this one. I think it's pretty amazing.
Award goes to my daughter Ziza. And here is why. That's my beautiful daughter.
It makes me always want to cry.
And I'm giving her this award. She is in 5th grade. This past year of school, they've been at home, and I know that's difficult. It's different, and she has handled it like a lady. And it's a good thing, because it's always nice to have change in life. But it's also a scary thing. And I think the older we get, the more we are afraid for change. And she has really shown me that it's okay to be afraid, but take that fear and turn it into excitement.
Wow.
And you're always going to get something positive out of it. So my award goes to my daughter.
Oh, congratulations, Ziza. You won an Ally Award.
Yay! Woohoo! Yay!
It will be mailed to your home in 6 to 8 weeks.
And by that, I mean your mom's going to make something up, because I don't have that award for you. Mary Beth, why don't you give out your Ally Award?
Okay. I am curious if this gentleman has been honored on your show yet. I wouldn't have been surprised if he has. But my award is going to go out to Larry Joe Campbell.
Don't think he has, but I'm excited about it.
So he basically was doing a college. He was doing a college thesis, his graduate thesis back in the day. I was a sophomore in college at Wayne State University, and Larry was in the master's program. And he was doing his thesis, and he wanted to take a group of actors who had never improvised before and have them write a show using improvisation. And so he auditioned like the student.
I know the name of it too.
I do too. I'll tell me, Margaret. I'm impressed you remember.
Oh, well, maybe I'm going to get it wrong though. Hippies, heartaches, and hair loss?
Yes, that was it.
Wow.
Hippies, hair loss. Yep. And I just, I think I always look back at joining Second City and that kind of changing rather the trajectory of my career, like getting into improv. I think these girls are reading chats or something, which is why.
No, I'm laughing because Amy is like adorable behind the award.
I know. She's sorry. I can't help it. I'm so sorry.
It was really childish to me. You're
I'll-
like having a really meaningful moment.
I
and
know.
I'm
I'm such a
laughing at
bitch.
her.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you are not a bit. You are.
I was listening, MB.
You were the only one.
No one. I guess no one cares about Larry. Sorry,
I'm
Larry.
listening.
I don't care about him, but I was listening.
So this award goes to
Amy.
this award goes to Larry because basically I think I always attributed me getting into improv and that kind of changing the trajectory of what I wanted to do as an actor to getting me out of musical theater and really changing my goals. But really, if I think about it, Larry is the one who literally taught me how to improvise for the first time. And that show was so groundbreaking to me. I mean, I was very familiar with all you guys on the main stage at the time, Margaret and Nancy, I believe too, earlier shows I had seen. And so I had loved improv, but I really think Larry kind of literally planted that seed in my brain of like, this is something that is so fun that will change your life and that you could do forever. So, and on top of that, coming to Los Angeles, he was the most generous person with his home, with his life, with his, with everything. And when I first came to LA, he was one of the first people that made me feel like, oh my God, there's a community here and I'm going to be okay. So I love you, Larry. Thank you.
Love you, Larry.
I have to double up on that one because Larry and another friend of ours, Troy, were the people who convinced me to audition for Second City.
Nice.
And that changed my life. And then once I was there, obviously he and I did a lot of work together. That was very life-changing. So congratulations, Larry.
We love you, Larry. We love you, love you, love you.
You're right. That's a well-deserved one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I like your
all right.
glasses, Nina.
Why, thank you.
He's like, I have some emails to respond to, so you guys all check back in with
I'm
you
just
after
going to
the awards.
multitask at the end of this show.
Actually, I do.
She's making the award certificate for Ziza.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, Joe, be open.
Somebody put paper in the printer.
All right, Amy, give out your award and make some faces from behind it.
Okay, thank you so much. My Ally Award goes to Sean Hanlon.
John Hanlon.
Oh, why are you giving him thumbs down?
She's pointing
Call
at
back.
him.
Call back. Okay.
Call back.
Sean, I love you so much. Oh my God, that's the greatest picture of him.
That's from his birthday at the end.
That's the greatest. Oh, that's amazing. Because of Sean, I really felt like he is the one who catapulted me into the world of a soft landing of all Detroit improvisers, some of which I'm staring at right now, because he cast me in my first Planet Ant show called Deceptions to the Rule. And it was truly one of the greatest experiences of my life.
Great show.
It was a great show.
Oh my God. It was so great.
Title.
Yes, Deception. He wanted to do a stage show of like a film noir.
Like a noir, right? Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so it was just my first experience with everything in terms of writing an entire show based on improv. I had no clue that that's how you guys did shows at Planet Ant. And so that was just a remarkable experience that he gave me that chance. And and in that show was Jamie Moyer.
I was going to say, Jamie was in it, right?
Yes. Mark Soboleski, Tim Robinson, several
and
other people.
the rest.
Wow, what a great group.
Yeah, it was good.
It was awesome.
Dave Davies. Was in it.
My God, Dave Davies. Oh God, it was incredible. And we got to do some film shoots too. Like we did some video shoots part of the show. But so thank you, Sean. And he was also a teacher at Second City. He's one of my teachers. So, but yeah, I love him so much. So thank you, Sean.
Congratulations, Sean, on your LA award. One thing that always comes up when I see Sean's name is when we worked on the cruise ships together and they had like some manifest and his name was on it misspelled and it was written Shaw Handloom. Every time I see his name, I think Shaw Handloom.
Shaw Handloom.
That's a good name. I like that.
Shaw Handloom. Nice to meet you. Yeah. As you'll see it there in the crawl. So Nancy, last but not least, your ally, please.
Come on, Nancy.
So as I understand,
I know you put a lot of thought into this.
I did put a lot of thought into this, actually. As I understand the Ally Award, it's supposed to be somebody who has supported you throughout your improv career and who challenges you to do better work and who you look up to, people like Larry and Sean. So I did put some thought into it, and I thought there's only one person I could think of that I'd like to honor, and so I reached out to Jess. Jess, would you put that picture up for me, please? Margaret. Bitch, I put a lot of thought into this.
It's making me feel stuff.
A surprise.
Amazing picture.
Straight up.
You are my Ally Award, Margie. And Jess and I worked this out to surprise you. And
you bitches. That was like, Nancy will send it to me at some point. Just to her later.
Margaret's
Margaret
like,
was like, so Nancy's
you
the only
didn't
one who
forget?
doesn't have an ally award.
Wait,
So I guess
you didn't forget?
we'll just say your name last, and you can just pull something out of your ass.
Oh.
The truth is,
She straight up, yeah, I'll email her while you're doing the intros or something.
the truth is that I sent just this picture a while ago.
Wow.
Because here's the thing, I did a lot of work at Second City, and Second City is this magical time in all of our lives that starts us off in our improv journey. And then, it can be you can get a little lost as soon as you leave that role. And, and it's the greatest job you're ever going to have. Everybody knows that. And you leave there and you're like, what's next? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And I feel like I met you at a perfect time in my life, Margaret, to be like, to just be burgeoning creativity. And it was that time, MB, when like you were on the stage then and Park was happening and we were all getting to be friends, and Naima and Margaret were on the main stage together. And then yet a third chapter after that, I think, was, when we created Bottle of Red and wrote that show. Of all the stuff I ever did at Second City on the main stage, I gotta say, I feel like Uncorked might be my favorite show I ever wrote.
Wow.
I think it might be. I think it might be my favorite show I ever wrote, because
You were amazing in it.
you were, the process, it just came out of us, and like we created so much shit. And I ironically, one of our allies, Sean Hanlon, directed that show. And here's a very funny Sean story. Margaret and I were standing backstage on opening night of the show, and
I know exactly what you're gonna say.
Sean came backstage to give us a pre-curtain speech to build us up, and he put a hand on each of our shoulders and he said, ladies, just go out there and try to rise above your gender.
that's perfect.
Rise above your gender.
Rise above your gender. It was the best pre-show speech I ever got in my life. But no, every single time we've ever played a Bottle of Red show, I tell people that it's like playing with the other half of my brain, and it really is true. And then, to bring this whole little conversation of ours full circle, the only other time I've ever had that in my life is then when I moved to LA and was lucky enough to get to play with all of you. Like when I play with everyone in this room and Jamie, it's the same thing as when I play with Mags. It's that other half of your brain thing. I know you all so well. I can see your eyes light up on stage, all four of you ladies and Jamie. I watch your eyes light up and I'm filled with glee for the audience because I know what you're about to do. And I know what you're I know the character that's about to come out of you is going to be so funny. And I'm like, I know what's about to happen and they don't know, but I know how great this is going to be. And like that joy after being in improv for 97 years,
700 years.
That's the joy that keeps you wanting to do it, is like that discovery of playing every time. And now it's like, it's partly about that it's still fun for me to play, but it's also about how fun it is to watch you all play. Mm-hmm. And like, I mean, I think if you can meet one other woman in your life that is as talented as you guys are and can inspire you as much as that, just one, you're just super duper lucky. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I have so many female role models in improv and in comedy, in the four of you and in Jamie, and is just, I'm so lucky, so lucky. So Margaret, you're my goddamn ally.
Congratulations, me.
Together forever, never to part. Together forever with you. Don't you know I wouldn't
You have to finish it. Together forever with you.
Oh, that's my jam. Sorry. That's my ringtone.
Wow, great. That was so great, Nancy. God,
I know.
Like, it up and like bring it all back. And,
wow,
I know.
Smack it up, flip it, rub it down.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Juanita body bag.
If you can believe it, it is time for us to wrap up. I'm gutted to think of it.
I am
this has been one of the most enjoyable hour and 20 minutes of my whole life.
And our Mama's Boys show is next. Our Boys show.
Yeah.
So
Right after this,
right?
or
Right
right
after
before this?
We're playing tomorrow night.
I thought we were playing tonight.
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow,
That's good.
Saturday the 5th.
Tomorrow,
That's good.
Saturday, June 5th, with
Well, I'm
Margaret
gonna stick around.
Jackson.
As Jess pointed out in our chats, please excuse our time traveling bits. We are about to do the show, and we're excited about
We're very
it.
excited. Very.
Before we go, I know obviously we've mentioned the festival show, but let's talk about anything you've got going on that you want to shout out, promote, or tell people to support that you're really into, whatever you like. So Amy, tell us anything you want to shout out.
Sure. My book is available pre-sale right now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is amazing.
Nailed it.
I just fell
All
off.
these
That's great.
non-thumbs
Spill It,
down.
Throw It, the Not So Real Housewives parody cookbook, and then listen to my show on Sirius XM Monday through Friday, 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. Reality check. If you like Housewives and Bravo shit.
And who doesn't?
Who doesn't? MB,
What?
you want to shout anything out?
Sure, yes. Please watch Bob Hart's Abishola. We are going to be in rerun time for the summer, but it's a great time for you to catch up on the show and get used to the characters and enjoy our lovely little love story. We're on Monday nights at 8:30 on CBS, and then we'll be coming back for season 3. And I don't know when.
You, our lovely viewers, have like early view of Mary Beth's new look for season 3. So this is like a little Easter egg exclusive. On the
Spoiler
show.
alert. Bang.
It's bangs.
Bang.
I
Bangs.
Bang.
Naeem, anything you wanna shout out?
Oh, let's see. I've got a couple wild and outs. Canon coming up. Also, there's another Who's Line should be airing this.
Okay.
Whose is it anyway? And also Harper House, a cartoon that I do on CBS. Check that out.
Yay!
Yeah,
baby.
check out those things.
Nancy, anything you want to shout out?
Yeah, I want to be the person to mention, you said if there's any causes we want to talk about. I just want to remind everybody that if you, when you watch our show next Saturday, tomorrow, at the Detroit Women of Comedy Festival, the proceeds from that show are going to go to support something very near and dear to all of our hearts, which is the Detroit Creativity Project. I'm the president of the board for that. Margaret works very, very hard with that group. We send improvisers into the Detroit schools to help teach people to make brave choices in their lives.
DCP.
So that's my shout out. That's the thing I want to shout out, and the cause that I want to support is when you watch the Detroit Women in Comedy Festival, you are supporting the DCP. So support the DCP and support the Detroit Women of Comedy Festival. These amazing women that put this on are working their butts off to bring this festival to life this year virtually.
Love it. Well, thank you to our amazing guests. Thank you to Jess. Thank you to all the folks who are having a great festival, and to the folks who put on the Detroit Women of Comedy Festival for inviting us and for hosting another great festival.
We love you, Margaret.
Love you too. Hey Girl's taking a short hiatus for a couple of months so that I can, have a summer, and then we'll be
hiatus.
But we will be back in September with some amazing guests. So thanks everybody. We'll see you in a bit.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I love you. Bye-bye. I love you. Bye-bye. I love you.